the third perspective. How you doing? What it do? What's up with you? Ha! I'm Rabbit Jones. As you can see, we tap in, y'all, and let you know how much I appreciate you for downloading our podcast, probably streaming it, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you get your podcast at. We appreciate it a whole lot. I just want to come on here and just express how much we really appreciate everybody all over the world that take the time out to listen to, watch, stream this podcast, The Third Perspective. I'm talking about Puerto Rico, appreciate you a whole lot. South Africa, Kenya, United Kingdom, Canada. I mean, it goes on and on where I'm just going to tell you, bro, starting this podcast off, never in my wildest dreams I thought that this many people ever even think about listening to this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just at awe right now. It's just like, you know how you go on the pool or in the ocean, and the further you get, the more you feel helpless. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know what's happening after this. You know what I'm saying? After 20 people watched and listened to this motherfucker, I've been on a cloud ever since, man. You know what I'm saying? It was more basically me trying to just put a stamp on life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you letting life just go past without doing anything got to the point where I had to make a change. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody out that joint just go to work, you know what I'm saying, and get into the routine of going to work, coming back, watching TV shows, doing it again, and doing it again until you get your pension. And what woke me up to this shit, man, was like a little over 10 years ago. I was shot 3 times and left to die in the middle of the street. A friend of mine was murdered on the scene, and it just made life just come to a halt. And you start thinking like, damn, this is how I supposed to win. This is the way I was supposed to go. This is how my life's written, you know? As I was laying on that concrete, but luckily I made it to banging on some doors. People ignored me. But luckily I got one person opened that door, called the ambulance for me, you know what I'm saying? Saved my life. But after that, coming out the hospital where you just see life just normal. People just riding bikes, laughing. And it was just like that never happened to you, you know what I'm saying? So I just look at life just different now, you know what I'm saying? After that. And one thing I started doing in the shelter was funny, 2 things. Is I started studying to be a barber, right? In the shelter. And I went to school for barbering in the shelter, graduated in the shelter and everything. And at the same time, I had picked up podcasting, but I wasn't podcasting myself. I was being invited on to my podcast. So it was giving me the bug of that too. Ironically, I was in a shelter while I was doing these things, you know. And as time went on, I graduated from barber school, you know what I'm saying, while I was in the shelter. In fact, the day that I graduated, I came to the shelter after that, after school and shit. And the lady in the office called me in the office and shit. So I go in that joint. She say, yeah, we got an apartment for you and shit. So damn, that was my day right there. I graduated that day. I came and got an apartment. Was told I can get the fuck out of here in the shelter. She started telling me you gotta go see it and see if you want it and shit. Shit, fuck. I don't need to see if I want it. It's getting me out the shelter. I'm out. You know what I'm saying, dog? But I appreciate her to go and shit. So that's why I started a journey off. Like, from this point on, I want to mock everything in my life. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to, my son to grow up and just see that I was alive. You know what I'm saying? That did happen. You know, it's like you could just go to work every day and your life would just be over and it's just irrelevant. To be honest with you, your life is just nothing but memories, and whoever want to remember you is the only memories you have. You know what I'm saying? The other podcast was one way to put a stamp on life. You know what I'm saying? And also open up a barber shop. So after I got my license, so those two things right now is where I see me expanding life. As far as barbering is concerned, I opened a barbershop with Master Barber now in the DMV area, and I have my own barbershop. So that right there changed me too, because it had to make me open up to people. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a people like open up to any old type of person. I was like a person to go to work, go home. You know what I'm saying? Stayed out the way, you know. But doing doing barber, I knew it was gonna make me open up. You know what I'm saying? And those two things in my life now to be live on the internet just opened me wide open. You know what I'm saying? So I just look at life different now. You know what I'm saying? I just want to put a stamp on things. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that I be podcasting and spending my whole life on this joint. Appreciate my co-hosts to come on here. They spill their life too. You know what I'm saying? And from the DMV area, you know what I'm saying? Deep born and raised DC. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to tell the story of a young black man growing up in the DC area. You know what I'm saying? And just tell our story. You know, they got out 18,000 downplays and streams worldwide. And it just at the bottom of my heart, I just can't do anything but say thank you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep continuing to grind like we've been doing, 2 podcasts a week for the last 3 years. So we have at 400 podcasts now. Check us out on Twitter, Twitch, you know what I'm saying, YouTube. We just grinding, man. You know what I'm saying? We just grinding. It's no lucrative anything with the podcasting. You just gotta be something you love to do. And I just happen to love to do it. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to everybody that came through the podcast, contribute to this podcast, you know what I'm saying? Co-host the podcast. Just appreciate everybody, man, that's showing us love. And we got plenty more coming in 2023. Big ideas for the podcast. We're trying to grow, you know what I'm saying? We just average Joes, you know what I'm saying? We ain't no famous motherfuckers coming on podcasts and shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is on TV, coming on podcasts when all the deals dry out and all that. We've been here, man. We just average Joes just podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been in the cafeteria at work, you know. Now you in the cafeteria at work, you just talk about everything, you be talking and shit. You got a little bit of time before you go back to work, you know what I'm saying? That's what we are in cafeteria when we do our podcast, you know. So that's the Third Perspective podcast each and every Tuesday night and Thursday night. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts at. You know what I'm saying? We there. Your live streams, for sure, we going to be there. Live streaming twice a week, you know what I'm saying, dog? So check us out on YouTube, man. Subscribe, follow us. Everywhere else, man, we just try and grow as a podcast from the DMV area. It's a broke podcast, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No former stars or comedians and none of that shit. Just straight from the hood. 9 to 5ers, literally as we speak, you know what I'm saying? Except for me, I own a barbershop, so that makes me a businessman, man, you know what I'm saying? So shouts out to everybody that contribute to our podcast, and shouts out to everybody that show us love. We appreciate y'all a whole lot. Y'all know how much we appreciate y'all all over this world. Thank you. Thank you. Third Perspective.